The reselling death pile. Chances are, if you found this video, you have one of these too. Well, today I'm going to share with you different methods and strategies that you can use to get rid of your death pile once and for all. And we're getting started right now. What's up guys, my name is Justin and I'm a full-time reseller, and in today's video I'm going to share with you the strategies that I use whenever I happen to acquire a death pile. Now when it comes to reselling, it's important to try to avoid death piles because the more clean and organized and efficient you are, the more you're going to make with your reselling business. But the fact of the matter is, no matter how long you've been reselling or how good you are at reselling, one day you'll look up and you'll find out that you've got a death pile on your hands. So we're going to go ahead now and talk about the different things that you can do to get rid of that death pile so you don't have to worry about it any longer. Okay, step number one when it comes to getting rid of a death pile is to not look at your death pile as a pile of death. Look at it as a pile of opportunities. After all, when you bought those items that you intended on reselling, everything that you saw when you bought it in a store had potential at one time in your life. So when it comes to eliminating your death pile, don't look at those items as burdens or things that you don't want to list. Look at them, through a lens of excitement and a lens of passion. Something that you once saw value in that you may not, value anymore. If you take the time to kind of refocus and reset your mindset, eventually those items no longer will become a burden and you'll be able to jump into that pile and get to actually listing them on eBay, on Etsy, on Poshmark, Mercari, or whatever reselling platform you use. And you might be surprised. Changing your mindset from a negative one to having a more positive outlook is a great first step that you can take to jumping into getting those items that are unlisted into your active inventory. And that leads us right into step number two, and that is to stop avoiding your death pile. Here is where we're going to actually come up with a plan and devise a plan of action and put it into place. Now, when you have a death pile or a large amount of items that you want to get listed quickly, one thing that I like to do to really speed up the process is doing something that I call batch listing. Now, when you're batch listing, what you're going to do is you're going to look through your pile and you're going to find items that are similar. For example, if you have a bunch of t-shirts, put them into one pile. If you have a bunch of pants, put them into another pile. If you have a bunch of accessories or things like hats, put them into another pile. And then focus on listing those items by that specific item type all together. And when you do it this way, you can really save a lot of time because most reselling platforms have a sell similar function to where when you click on sell similar, all of the item fields are already going to be filled out and you don't have to go back and forth between different item categories, which is going to save you a lot of time in the long run. And also, when you're batching a group of similar items together, look at each individual item in that group and really try to decide if it's worth your time to list or not. Because when you're listing an item, it takes the same amount of time to list an expensive item as it does to list a cheap or lesser valued item. So here you really want to focus on getting the most value for your time. Okay, now moving on to strategy number three, and this is probably my favorite strategy to eliminate a reselling death pile, and I like to call it the Snowball Method. Now the Snowball Method basically is when you take your death pile and you look at it and you pick out the largest item to list it first. And then after you list that item, you're going to look at the next largest item and keep working your way down until you get to the very bottom of your pile, which should be the smallest item in your pile. For example, in my death pile, if I had a paper clip and a camera case, I'm going to list the camera case first because it's the bigger item. And I'll leave the paper clip second. Even if this paper clip were more valuable than the camera case, I'm going for the bigger item here and actually listing it first because when it sells, it's going to clear more room in my inventory and it's going to give me a psychological boost when I see that a large item is actually leaving my death pile. When you are able to make a huge dent in your death pile quickly, it not only gives you a lot of motivation, but it also gives you that boost that you need to really get motivated to continue listing and to continue chipping away and hacking away at your death pile. And I can promise you that if you use this method, you're going to see results really quick, and this is probably the quickest and fastest way to get rid of your death pile for once and all. Okay, moving on now to step number four in how to get rid of your death pile, and that is to condense and organize your inventory that is in your death pile as you list it and as it sells. And I realize that this might sound like a no-brainer, but you'd be amazed at how many resellers that I know, myself included, that if they were to take the time to organize and kind of tidy up their death pile, not only is it going to make it a lot smaller, but it's going to make it more manageable to work with as well. Okay, and now we're going to move on to method number 5, which is the final method to eliminating your death pile, and that is to look at the items in your death pile and decide what you want to donate or throw away in the trash. Now, I realize the thought of donating or trashing items that you saw value in at one time might sound crazy, but I can assure you that if you take the time to get rid of the stuff that's holding you back, it's going to open up doors for you in the future. Because when you clear out your death pile, now you'll have more space and more freedom to buy new things that are a better fit for your reselling business. Now, if the thought of donating or trashing items in your death pile seems impossible to you, one thing that you can do is you can look for a reselling accountability partner. If you have a friend or somebody else that's a reseller that can look at your death pile with, a non-judgmental lens and kind of help you decipher what was good and what isn't good, that'll really help you determine what you want to donate and what you should actually just, maybe throw in the trash. So here, once again, with your accountability partner, you're looking at your death pile and we're going back to actually deciding what's actually worth your time and what you should actually invest into to put into your reselling business. So there you have it, guys. Those are my 5 tips to help you get rid of and eliminate your reselling death pile. If you have any other ideas, feel free to share them down in the comment section below. And if you found this content valuable, feel free to hit the thumbs up button down below and it will help other resellers find this video too. Oh, and one more thing before I go, guys. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing and you'll be the first to be notified anytime I drop new content like this. Thank you guys so much for watching and for giving me your time. Now, I want you to go and conquer that death pile. Have a good day, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Bye.